Today I'm going to be showing you this natural everyday makeup look. If you are over 40, over 35, this is going to be a great video for you because I'm going to be giving you some anti-aging tips along the way. You of course do not have to be over 35, over 40 to enjoy this video because I'm just giving you a realistic, achievable everyday makeup look that anyone can do, and it's good for any occasion. That's kind of what my channel is all about, is giving easy everyday looks for the everyday woman. So if you like videos like that, be sure that you hit the subscribe button before you leave and hit that notification bell to where you see the little parentheses kind of things around it so that you are notified when I upload my videos. I have another natural everyday makeup tutorial out from a couple of years ago, but I wanted to give an update of that because things change, products change, and I like to give you updates when I can. I'm going to be using some products that I haven't thought about in a while, and I wanted to pull them out again. I'm also going to be using some products from IT Cosmetics to help create a flawless look and help even the skin tone out, and that brand really goes along with anti-aging. I've done a lot of videos on their products, and this video is in partnership with Sephora inside JCPenney. IT Cosmetics is finally available inside Sephora inside JCPenney, so that is exciting news for those of you who shop regularly in Sephora inside JCPenney. You can finally get IT Cosmetics there. I love the fact that their products are developed with plastic surgeons and that they have really great anti-aging ingredients in them. So I'm excited about this partnership. I'm excited to share with you an updated version of a natural, everyday, easy makeup look. So if you want to see how I went from looking like this today to looking like this, just keep watching. Before I go into everything, you do need to know a little bit about me and my skin type. I'm in my mid-40s. I live in a very hot and humid climate. It's starting to get hot here already, and it's pretty much humid year-round. And I have oily combination skin. I know a lot of you do not have the same conditions that I do, so I'm going to be cognizant of that throughout this video and speak to the various skin types that those of you have as well. I am not applying primer today because I am just using my sunscreen and moisturizer and all that as primer. If you want to use a primer, go ahead and do so. I'm going straight in with foundation. Today I'm using the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus with SPF 50. I'm in the shade medium. I like to apply it with a damp sponge, and I'm just gonna go right in and apply it in sections. I like to apply it in layers. It can build to full coverage and really cover those imperfections. So this has a lot of vitamins and peptides and anti-aging properties along with SPF 50. It's hydrating. I'm actually going to turn my brightness down just a little bit so you can see from one half to the other how well this covers that redness. What I love about this CC cream is that you can use it with your fingers, with a brush, with a sponge, and really customize your coverage that you like, or customize it however your skin is acting that day. So yeah, I think that looks good. I'm gonna put a little bit more over here because I feel like I had a little bit more redness over here, but it's looking really good with the pores. I'm really happy. And I had some redness around my nose. I felt like I needed a concealer around my nose, but now I really don't. I've not really messed around with the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer in a long time. I remember it being really thick. So I've been playing around with it, and I found the best way that I like to apply it is squeezing out just a teeny tiny bit onto my finger. You really don't need a lot of this at all. I start out with like that much, which is nothing. Most of that is the smear on my finger. That even might be too much. The shade that I have is Light Natural 13. This is a neutral shade. Okay, so I like to rub it into my fingers to kind of warm it up. It kind of helps with that thick consistency a little bit. What I like about this is that it's waterproof. So we have summertime coming up, or if you have an occasion where there might be some sadness, this is a great concealer to use. It also has great anti-aging ingredients in it as well, which is wonderful to put on the under eye area. It's not supposed to crack or crease or anything during the day. For those of you who have texture under your eyes, that's really important. So I just tap it where I need it. So I'm just gonna pat this in. The warmth of my fingers just really helps to distribute it nicely. Don't forget that outside corner. That is one tip that I will give you, especially as we get older. We get a lot of redness and discoloration in that outside corner, and putting some concealer right there will just help lift the eye. I am also going to use this as my eyeshadow primer. We also need to color that discoloration on our lids and help our eyeshadow go on smoother. You can use a dedicated eyeshadow primer if you want, but I like using this. I have some really fine expression lines right underneath my eyes that, I don't know, I just find do crease during the day no matter what. They may not with this concealer, but I just don't like to chance it. So I am going to take the Bye Bye Pores loose powder and just put a tiny bit underneath that area, and that is what I'm going to use to set my face. If you don't need to set your face, by all means don't do that. This has this optical blurring technology that totally hides your pores. It has real silk in it, it smooths away the look of wrinkles, it's also got treatment things in it too. I'm actually going to take the smoothing side of this brush and kind of smooth out those crinkles if I have any. I have just a couple, and I'm going to take the buffing side and just take a tiny bit of powder and tap off the excess and just take that right underneath the eyes. This product is so finely milled you can kind of see the cloud as I apply it. So I know, you know, a lot of you are kind of not keen on setting your under eye area, and that's okay, you don't have to. It's kind of a catch-22. As you get older, you get more creases underneath your eyes, you need a more hydrating concealer, but the more hydrating concealers tend to crease, right? So setting is kind of something you need to do, but you don't want to do because it accentuates lines, so you want to use a powder that doesn't emphasize that. So I do like this powder underneath the eyes. I find it doesn't accentuate lines or anything like that. I like to take a damp beauty blender to set my face. I just dip it in the powder, kind of tap off the excess, and I just press it in. I find this looks much more natural than taking a brush and dusting it all over the face. It really presses the powder into the skin. I think this would work even if you have drier skin. I just find when I dust powder, can I talk today? I just find that when I dust powder on the face, doesn't look as natural, which seems counterintuitive. It just seems to have the powder sit on top of the face versus really melding with the skin, if that makes sense. So, you know, if you really want to get a more natural look from your powder, if you feel like you do kind of need to set your face, you may want to try it this way and see how that works for you. And then I dust away the excess. I'll kind of swirl my brush in the leftover. This is the Heavenly Luxe Wand Ball Powder Brush, number 8 from IT Cosmetics. Holy cow, you almost can't even feel it on your face. And I'll just dust away any excess. So far, I've done my foundation, concealer, and powder, and my face looks so natural. Everything looks soft. I don't look too made up. It just looks like I could walk out of the house right now and this could be my skin. Let's add a little life and dimension to the face now. I am going to use some products that I kind of forgot about and have not used in a long time, but that I love and that can give you a great natural look. So the first, it was my staple bronzer last summer. I used 2 different shades. This is Becca Capri Coast is the shade I'm using now. You can tell I love this thing. If you want a natural, easy to use bronzer, this is it. I am just gonna take this and put this where the sun hits. This is just such a pretty summery bronzer shade. It looks like it has shimmer to it, but that just gives this really pretty glowy look to the face. I hope this is coming across on camera. I don't want to overdo it because I do have to go places, so I don't want to be totally, you know, layered in bronzer. So I'm going to show you the option with contour. And I have not used this in forever, and this is one of my favorite products. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Bronze and Glow in the light shade. I think it's just called light. Is it called anything? Fair medium. So you have a beautiful, beautiful highlight shade in here, very subtle, natural, and a contour slash bronzer. And this is one of those universal shades. I just really wanted to use that Becca bronzer today. So this is what I'm going to use for a contour. Excuse my contour brush, which has not been washed in a while. But to contour, I just kind of look down a little bit and look for a shadow. You may not need contour. You know, I know as we get older, our face starts to slim down a little bit. But as we get older, sometimes we put on a little weight, and you know, you may need to chisel out those cheekbones a little bit too. I like to put it on the top of my forehead because I can slim down my forehead a little bit. Another spot is the chin. It's not something that's obvious if you just diffuse it a little bit. Now, I say this in almost every tutorial where I bronze, contour, blush, highlight. If you feel like things look overdone or blotchy or uneven, whatever, you can always diffuse it with finishing powder when you're done. So do not feel like you're stuck. So now I'm gonna take this highlighter here and just lightly run it along my cheekbone. So see how pretty that is? I may have added a little bit too much. It's just a really nice soft effect. I think a coral, a melon color, a peachy shade is really flattering on so many skin tones, and it looks really great in the spring and summer as well. So I'm gonna use this Clinique Melon Pop today. If you want a more nude, neutral shade, Clinique Nude Pop is great. I think these are so underrated. I am using this fabulous brush from IT Cosmetics, the Heavenly Luxe French Boutique blush brush. Look how fancy that is. This is just gonna give such a pretty flush of color to the cheek. And I love these blushes because you really cannot overdo them. Look at how soft and pretty that is, especially with that highlight underneath. And you could put this on underneath the highlight. That's actually what I usually do. I just kind of went in reverse order today. I think that looks good. And I'm gonna go into brows. This is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power Universal Eyebrow Pencil. It has a spoolie on one end and it has an oval shaped tip on the other end. It is supposed to be this universal shade, and it's supposed to work for both thin and thick brows because of the oval shape. It's also supposed to work for all hair colors based on the pressure that you use. So I have really actually been enjoying this quite a bit. I'm using just kind of a light pressure to create what looks like hair strokes. I cannot do my brows and talk at the same time. And then I turn it on its side to do this top part, and I have it turned lengthwise. So yeah, I'll just press harder if I want it to be darker and lighter if I don't. But this is supposed to be budge proof, and it has nice nourishing ingredients in it as well. And I just find it looks really natural. I finished the brows. I also went ahead and put lip liner on. I'm going to show you what I did with my lip liner a little bit later. And now we can go into eyes. For the eyes, I am using Too Faced Natural Eyes. I think a lot of you have either this new palette or the old version of this, or if you don't have it, you can get this look by using any other palette that has similar shades. The first thing I'm going to do is just take a neutral shade that's about a shade or two deeper than my skin tone in my transition area, which is at the crease and slightly above. You can even use a bronzer for this. I'm just taking it and sweeping it almost up to the brow bone. This is great for those of you who have hooded eyes or even partially hooded eyes like myself. You can just kind of see that it looks a little bit more open and polished already. I'm going to take that same brush and just pinch it and run that same shade underneath my lash line. Now that that's done, I'm going to take a shade that's just a little bit deeper than that, and I am going to just put that on the outer third of the lid, and I'm going to extend it up a little bit. So it's not just doing the outer third of the lid, because sometimes if your lids droop down, that can make you look even more tired. You want to expand it to where it goes along that lower lash line but stays above it. So you want to kind of envision this right here that is extending that lower lash line, and you don't want to go below it. You just kind of want to draw above it, and you can even, if you want, take it in that crease, the leftover, but you don't have to. That's all I'm doing, is just kind of creating a shadow. I'm not really worried about this inner line right now because I'm going to put something there. And you don't even have to do this. You can totally just do what I'm going to do on the lid. This is optional. It just gives you a little bit more polish if you want that. So this is an optional step. So now I'm going to take just any kind of a lighter shade. It can be shimmery, it can be matte, it can be whatever you want it to be, and I'm going to use it on the lid. I'm going to use this shade right here, which is Silk Teddy, and I'm going to take it on my finger and I'm going to press it onto the lid. You can also take a liquid or a cream shadow and do the same thing. If you're more comfortable using a brush, by all means use a brush. And I'm going to take that same brush that I used used a while ago and just kind of blend that out a little bit right there. But you just kind of want to have that lid pop a little bit, especially if you have any kind of a hood, because you don't really see that lid much. And if you can open it up in any kind of a way, that's going to help people see what's going on that lid. So now take a matte or a satin light shade, like the shade Heaven right here, and you're gonna pop that onto your brow bone and into your inner corner. You can also use a shimmery shade in your inner corner, just depends on your preference. Sometimes if it's daytime, I like to use a matte, but it really, really helps brighten it up, especially for someone like me and you have a lot of darkness there or it's kind of deep right there. And sometimes I even take it right up here underneath the front part of the brow, just directly under there, especially if you're kind of deep set right there. It just helps open it up. If you want a tight line, go ahead. I'm going to use this deep shade right here. You can use black, you can use brown. Personally, I like to use brown because I find it's a little bit softer, and I'm just going to press it. You can use a flat brush or an angled brush. I'm going to do it all along my lash line. You can go up under the lashes if you want a tight line. I'm going in dry. You can go in wet. I just want to make sure I'm darkening my lashes. I am not doing the waterline. That is not good for your eyes. It blocks my Bohemian glands. I have a whole video on that. So what I do is, again, we're going with this imaginary lower lash line. We're pretending like it extends into infinity. And I am going to take this angled brush and I'm going to just place a line right there. That's optional. You don't have to do that. You can leave it at the tight lining. I just like to do this because I like to raise that outer corner because my outer corner is a little bit downturned. So I like to lift it up a little bit. And I'm just connecting kind of the middle part of my eye with that outer corner. You can do this wet or dry. Just be sure and tap off your brush if you're using a dark color so that you don't have much fallout if you're doing your eyes last. I do have a little bit of fallout here I'm going to have to deal with in a second. If you have a fold that cuts into that, or if you just want to smudge things out a little bit more so that you don't have to be so precise with your line, take just a thin smudger brush, dip it into that same shade, and just make it smudgy. You don't have to be exact, just make it smudgy. It still looks good and it still lifts the eye. Before I go in with mascara, I'm going to curl my lashes. Super, super important if you want your eyes to look more awake. I cannot emphasize this enough. Find a lash curler that fits your eye shape. They are not all created equally. It really does help. My lashes still look invisible because they just are until I get mascara on them. One of the only non-waterproof mascaras I have ever tried that holds a curl for me is It Superhero Mascara. And I know a ton of you like this mascara. It's one of my favorites. I think it's tremendous. It's lengthening, it's volumizing, it's got great ingredients, and it holds my curl throughout the day. You know, the first times I ever tried this mascara, I did my typical thing. I applied my waterproof layer and then went in with this mascara and loved it. Never tried it by itself. And then one day I tried it by itself and I realized I didn't need to do that waterproof layer with this mascara, which is great because it leaves my lashes really, really soft. I had to answer the door, so I went ahead and finished my mascara and put on my lip color, which I'll tell you about in a second. I have on, I would say 1.5 layers of mascara maybe. I put on a light layer and put on a full layer. If I wanted more fullness and volume, I would layer some more, do 2 to 3 layers, and it would look beautiful. This is my second tube of this mascara and I do intend to repurchase again. This is such a great mascara. I did comb through my lashes with my lash comb as I always do. My lashes are super sparse and thin and this mascara just works beautifully. For my lips, you saw earlier that I did line them already. The lip liner that I used was Charlotte Tilbury Iconic Nude. This is one of my favorite neutral lip liners ever. It's a brownish pink, a little bit more brown, but it doesn't have any orangey tones in it or anything like that. It's just so, so nice. I also on my lips use the Bobbi Brown Crushed Liquid Lip in Juicy Date. I love this thing. I think if you want a lip shade that looks kind of like your lips but better, but adds a little bit of a punch, this is a great shade. And this formula is so moisturizing. It lasts a long time, and it's creamy and nourishing. I hope you found this natural, everyday, easy makeup tutorial helpful. Let me know some products that you use for your natural, easy, everyday looks. I would love to see those down below. I love getting your suggestions, love reading the comments and interacting with you guys. So start that discussion down below. Let's see what transpires from there. And definitely go check out It Cosmetics in Sephora inside JCPenney. I'm super excited that they're available there now. And I know a lot of you are as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you guys back here on a regular basis. Hit that notification bell if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.